It was the kind of cold morning in Ohio when the wind felt sharp enough to sting the skin, and the world seemed to move in slow motion. On the far side of the park, a young mother stood shivering on the concrete path, hugging her arms tightly around her body as if she could hide the truth that had already exposed her. Her feet were bare. Her name was Rachel Morgan, and life had not been kind to her lately. She tried to stand tall, but every step sent a sting through her soles. People passed her with brief glances, the kind that were neither cruel nor kind, just indifferent. And indifference sometimes hurts the most. If you believe the world needs more kindness and second chances, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support brings these stories to life. Rachel had walked more than a mile barefoot because her old shoes had torn apart completely the night before, and she had used the last of her paycheck to buy food for her 4-year-old son, Noah. She told herself it didn't matter, that she could manage a few days without shoes, that spring was warm enough, that pain was temporary. But deep down, she felt the sting of humiliation and the heaviness of a life that kept demanding more than she could give. Across the park, a little girl named Harper Collins, no older than 8, walked beside her father. She was dressed in a pink dress, her blonde ponytail bouncing with every step. She carried nothing but joy, the kind that children somehow hold even when the world around them forgets how to. Her father, Mark Collins, walked with calm confidence, keeping a gentle eye on her but allowing her the freedom to skip, jump, and laugh. When Harper stopped suddenly, Mark followed her gaze. She had spotted Rachel. More accurately, she had spotted Rachel's bare feet, pink from the cold, scraped from the path, trembling with each step. Harper didn't know the full story. She didn't need to. Children understand pain in a way adults often overlook. They feel it straight from the heart. Rachel tried to smile at them, embarrassed, hoping they would keep walking. She didn't want pity, she wanted dignity. But Harper slowly approached her with the innocence of someone who didn't care about the invisible walls adults place between each other. She looked up at Rachel and stared thoughtfully at her feet. Rachel braced herself for a question she didn't want to answer, but instead, Harper did something that stunned both adults. She bent down, untied her own small red sneakers, slipped them off, and held them out with both hands. Rachel's eyes widened and filled immediately with tears she hadn't planned on showing. Harper said softly, "You can have mine." The words hit Rachel harder than any hardship she had endured that week. A stranger's child, someone with her whole world ahead of her, was offering her not just shoes, but compassion. Pure, uncomplicated compassion. Rachel tried to refuse, shaking her head, overwhelmed, but Harper insisted, pushing the shoes closer to her hands. Mark stepped forward, placing a gentle hand on his daughter's shoulder, but he didn't stop her. He saw the conviction in her eyes. He saw something he recognized, kindness that didn't need permission. Rachel finally took the shoes. They were far too small, but that didn't matter. What mattered was the intention, the innocence, the love behind them. She pressed them against her chest and whispered a breathless thank you, trying not to cry harder. Harper simply smiled as if giving her shoes away was the most natural thing in the world. Mark slowly approached Rachel and asked if she was all right. Rachel hesitated, wrestling with whether she should lie or tell the truth. But the tenderness in his expression broke down her last wall of pride. She told him about losing her job weeks ago, about trying to raise Noah alone since her divorce, about the shoes she couldn't replace. She didn't present herself as a victim. She simply spoke as a human being carrying heavier burdens than most people ever saw. Mark listened without judgment. When she finished, he nodded slowly, as though absorbing every detail. Then he crouched down beside Harper and whispered something that made Harper's eyes light up. She reached into Mark's jacket pocket and pulled out a small red envelope. Mark explained softly that Harper always carried handmade cards labeled "Acts of Love." She passed one to Rachel. On the front, written in crayon, were the words, "You matter more than you know." It was too much. Rachel wiped her eyes with the back of her sleeve as her breath trembled. She had felt invisible for so long, like the world had forgotten she was a real person with real struggles. And now here she stood, being seen by a little girl who simply refused to ignore someone hurting. Mark then kindly offered to take Rachel to a nearby store to buy her a pair of shoes that actually fit. Rachel resisted at first, feeling guilty, but Mark insisted that kindness wasn't charity, it was humanity. She accepted. They walked together to a small shop on the corner, where Mark bought her sturdy, comfortable shoes, letting her choose the pair she liked best. Harper helped pick the color. As Rachel put them on, she felt something she hadn't felt in weeks. Relief, yes, but also belonging. She thanked them again and again, her voice cracking with gratitude. Mark told her she didn't owe them anything. Harper simply hugged her tightly, as though she could squeeze hope back into her tired spirit. Later, when Rachel walked home wearing her new shoes, she felt as if each step carried a piece of warmth that Harper had passed on to her. She found Noah playing inside their small apartment, and when she told him the story, his little face lit up. That night, she placed Harper's small red card on the kitchen shelf where she could see it each morning. It became her reminder that even in the darkest seasons, kindness blooms in unexpected places. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support helps bring more real, emotional stories to the world. And before you go, please comment below, kindness still exists.